I stood in the kitchen doorway, swaying slightly. The blood from my forehead had soaked through the bandages, dripping onto the pristine white collar of my shirt. Elara stared at me, her hands trembling. The shattered teacup lay between us on the floor, sharp fragments glistening in the lantern light. "Where were you?" she demanded again, her voice losing its usual icy composure. "You disappear for days. You come back like this. Who did this to you?" I leaned against the doorframe, too tired to invent a complex lie. "Does it matter?" I replied, my voice raspy. "I seem to recall asking you that question many times in the past. Where are you going, Elara? When will you be back? You never answered me. You told me it wasn't my concern." I looked her in the eye, feeling the blood trickle down my cheek. "So, respectfully, Lady Everhart, this isn't your concern." She flinched. The words hit her harder than a spell. She opened her mouth to argue, but then she looked at the dark red stain spreading on my bandage. "Be quiet," she ordered, not with anger, but with urgency. She stepped over the broken porcelain. She didn't ask for permission. She reached out and placed her hand directly on my forehead, over the soaked gauze. I tried to pull away. "I don't need—" "Be quiet," I said, "be quiet." Her hand began to glow. A soft violet light pulsed from her skin, illuminating the dark kitchen. I braced myself for pain. I expected heat. I expected a shock. Instead, I felt ice. A cool, soothing wave of energy rushed into my skull. My engineer's brain instantly analyzed the sensation. It wasn't just magic. It was rapid cellular regeneration. She was manipulating the biological structure of my skin, knitting the tissues back together at an impossible speed. The throbbing headache vanished instantly. The dizziness cleared. The exhaustion that had been crushing my bones evaporated, replaced by a surge of vitality. I gasped, my eyes widening. I knew she was powerful. I knew she could summon fire and storms. But this defied the laws of entropy. To fix a broken machine instantly? To rewrite reality with a touch? This power, I thought, trembling. It is absolute. It is terrifying. The light faded. Elara pulled her hand back. The bandage fell away, revealing nothing. No scar, no cut, just smooth, unblemished skin. I touched my forehead. It was perfect. I looked at her with new eyes. For the first time, I truly understood the gap between us. If she wanted to, she wouldn't even need to burn me. She could just stop my heart with a thought. Elara looked at her own hand, then at me. She saw the shock in my eyes. She misunderstood it. "Have I been that terrible," she asked, softly, "that you would rather bleed than ask for my help?" The question hung in the air. For a second, the Ice Queen was gone. Just a woman standing in a kitchen, realizing she didn't know the man standing in front of her. I buttoned my collar, covering the bloodstains on my shirt. "You aren't terrible, Elara," I said, my voice steady now, stronger than before. "You are just you, and I am me. We are variables in an equation that doesn't balance." I walked past her toward the hallway. "We should both just walk our own paths," I said, letting the implication of divorce hang in the air. "It's safer that way." I left her standing alone in the kitchen and climbed the stairs to my room. I entered my private chambers and locked the heavy oak door. I ripped off the blood-stained white shirt and threw it into the fireplace. I watched the flames consume the evidence of my weakness. "Energy restored," I muttered, flexing my hands. "Cognitive functions at 100%. Elara's magic was incredible. I felt stronger than I had in years, but the debt of gratitude weighed on me. I didn't want to owe her anything. I put on a fresh, high-collared black shirt and fastened the cuffs. The architect was back in uniform. "Sir?" A shadow moved in the corner of the room. Sebastian stepped out. He looked relieved to see me standing upright, but his face was grave. "You look remarkably well, my lord," Sebastian noted. eyeing my healed forehead with a mix of suspicion and relief. "The lady intervened," I said shortly, pouring myself a glass of water. "Report, Sebastian. The counterattack." Sebastian straightened his spine. "It is proceeding better than anticipated. The rumors about the prince's mining operations have spread like wildfire. The Miners' Guild has officially declared a strike. The prince's income is frozen. He is furious." A cold smile touched my lips. Good. If he has no gold, he can't pay his assassins. That buys us time. "Indeed, sir. However," Sebastian hesitated. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a heavy envelope. It wasn't white. It was crimson red, sealed with heavy gold wax. The seal wasn't the prince's lion. It was a falcon holding a sword. The Valorian family seal. My stomach dropped. The air in the room suddenly felt very thin. "What is that?" "An invitation, sir," Sebastian said, handing it to me as if it were a bomb. I broke the seal. The paper was thick, expensive. The handwriting was sharp, elegant, and aggressive. "To Aric Valorian. Your absence has been noted. Your recent activities have reached the main estate. The Matriarch demands your presence. The grand family reunion begins in 3 days. Attendance is mandatory." "Grandmother," I whispered. "The matriarch of the Valorian line, a woman who made Elara look like a kitten. She was the one who arranged my marriage. She was the one who controlled the family fortune. She was the reason the old Aric drank himself into a stupor." "This is bad timing," I said, crumpling the letter in my fist. "The worst possible timing. The prince is hunting me. I have a parasitic armor hidden in the barn, and I still don't know how to get back to Earth." "You cannot refuse, sir," warned Sebastian softly. "To refuse the matriarch is to be disowned. You would lose the title. You would lose the manor. You would lose your diplomatic immunity." I walked to the window, looking out at the dark grounds. I felt the walls closing in. To my left, a wife who can manipulate biology with a touch. To my right, a prince who wants me dead. And in front of me, a family that treats me like livestock. I am trapped, I thought. Every move I make just tightens the noose. I looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there was Earth, a world of logic, a world where I was free. "Very well, Sebastian," I said, turning back. My eyes were cold. "Prepare the carriage. If the family wants to see the trash baron, let's show them exactly who Aric Valorian has become."